Hi everyone, welcome back to Economics by Arsha, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about price controls. Now, why do governments impose price controls? Well, although the market equilibrium may seem as an optimum situation, the free market does not always lead to the best outcomes for all producers and consumers. Therefore, governments may have to intervene directly into the market in order to achieve a different outcome. This intervention could be in the form of indirect taxes, subsidies, or price controls. Let's take a look at the two types of price controls. The first one is maximum prices. A maximum price is a situation where the government sets a maximum price that is below the market equilibrium price and prevents producers from raising the price above it. This is also known as a price ceiling, as the producers in the market cannot sell the price above the ceiling price. Now, a reason for imposing the maximum price is really to ensure the affordability of essential or merit goods and services. An example of this could be the imposition of a maximum price on the rented accommodation to make them more affordable to low-income families. Let's take a look at an example of this on a graph. Here we have the market for an essential good for all women around the world, sanitary pads, and our market equilibrium point. This market equilibrium point shows us our equilibrium price at $18 and our equilibrium quantity at 3 boxes of sanitary pads. However, let us say that the government believes that this market equilibrium point does not serve the welfare of low-income women. Thus, they would implement a maximum price here at $12. However, the imposition of a maximum price does not necessarily solve the problem straight away. Rather, what we can see is that a decrease in price results in an increase in demand, here to 4 boxes of sanitary pads. However, the same decrease in price also results in a decrease in supply to 2 boxes of sanitary pads. This results in a situation of excess demand. The excess demand creates problems. Producers will find that they have a shortage and will be tempted to try to get around the price control and sell their goods at a price that is in between the maximum price and the equilibrium point in order to make up for their losses. Now, the government has 4 different methods that they could utilize in order to eradicate this excess demand. The first one is offering subsidies to encourage more production. This essentially encourages producers to produce more units of the good and close the shortage gap. The second is the governments could produce and sell the product themselves, thus increasing the supply, which is known as direct provision. The third is if this product was previously stored, these stored goods can be released into the market. Once again, this would further increase the supply of these goods. However, if the product is more perishable, like bread, then this would not be possible. And the fourth and final reason is to attempt to increase demand via advertisement or the restriction of the same imported good. So in the case of our sanitary pads, the government could possibly restrict demand for restrict the imports of sanitary pads to promote the consumption of sanitary pads from local businesses. Regardless of the method that the government uses, their primary goal is to eradicate this excess demand. And in order to do so, they must increase supply or shift it to the right. And in doing so, this gives us a new supply curve and a new equilibrium point. This equilibrium point gives us our new quantity at 4 boxes of sanitary pads at the equilibrium price of $12. The next type of price control is known as minimum prices. Minimum prices are a situation where the government sets a minimum price above the market equilibrium price and prevents producers from reducing the price below it. Again, it is also known as a price floor because producers cannot lower the price of the good below the floor price. Now, there are 3 reasons why a government would implement a minimum price. The first one is to attempt to raise incomes for producers of certain goods and services. These are goods and services that the government thinks are important, such as agricultural products. They may be helped because their prices are subject to large fluctuations or because there's a lot of foreign competition. When equilibrium prices are low, the economic well-being of producers may be harmed. The second reason is to protect workers by setting a minimum wage. This ensures that workers will earn enough to lead a reasonable existence. Very low equilibrium wages may be seen as unfair to those workers who receive them, and this raises issues of equity. The final reason is to reduce the consumption of certain demerit goods. We're going to look at this in our example on this graph. Here I have the market for alcohol and our equilibrium point. This equilibrium point gives us our equilibrium price at $27 and our equilibrium quantity at 3 bottles of alcohol. However, due to the demerit nature of this good, the government is likely to want to restrict the supply for this good in order to reduce demand for it, and thus implement a minimum price. Here our minimum price is at $36 above the equilibrium point. However, merely implementing a minimum price does not instantly solve the problem. Rather, we can see that an increase in the price would result in an increase in supply, here to 4 bottles of alcohol, but the same increase in price also results in a decrease in demand to 2 bottles of alcohol. This gives us the situation of excess supply. The excess supply creates problems. Producers will find that they have surpluses and will be tempted to try to get around the price controls and sell their excess supply for a lower price, somewhere between the equilibrium price and the minimum price floor. Now, in order to eradicate this excess supply, the government has only one option. The government can simply buy the surplus goods. What this would do is that it would eradicate the excess supply and shift the demand curve to the right, giving us a new demand curve, D plus government buying. This gives us a new market equilibrium point here, with a market equilibrium price of $36 at the minimum price and a market equilibrium quantity at 4 bottles of alcohol. Now, with the surplus in its hands, the government has 3 final options. With the surplus, they could either store the surplus, which is only possible if it is a durable good, and once storing it, they can either choose to destroy it or release it into the market at a future time. The second thing is they could sell the surplus abroad. However, this often causes angry reactions from the foreign governments involved, who can claim that the products are being dumped on their markets and will harm their domestic industries. Thus, the third and final option is to simply implement a quota to restrict supply. This quota could look something like this. Here again we have our market for alcohol with our minimum price in place. Implementing a quota like this at 2 bottles of alcohol will simply restrict supply, meaning that the suppliers cannot go above a supply of 2 bottles of alcohol, and this would meet the demand, which is at 2 bottles of alcohol. This would solve our problem of excess supply. So, why do governments intervene in markets? Well, the first reason is to help consumers make better choices. Here I have 3 examples. The first one is indirect taxes. They reduce the quantity of a product sold in a market, and so will make certain goods less attractive. This can help to achieve a government's goal of reducing the consumption of goods which may be harmful to consumers, such as demerit goods. The second, minimum prices. Minimum prices tend to increase the price of goods that are harmful to consumers and will discourage them from buying as much of the product. And the third is subsidies. Subsidies on healthy products will make them more affordable and give consumers the incentive to increase their consumption. The second main reason is to promote sustainability. Here I have 2 examples. The first one is indirect taxes. They may be imposed on production processes or products that threaten sustainability. Taxes such as carbon taxes, which raise the cost of production, may encourage firms to produce using more sustainable practices. And the second example, is subsidies. Subsidies may be given to producers whose production methods or final goods are more favorable to the environment. And the third and final reason is to promote equity and economic well-being. Here I have 3 examples. The first one is minimum wages. Minimum wages are one way of trying to ensure that workers can earn a fair payment for their labor and promote equity. The second is minimum prices. They are one way of trying to ensure that producers earn a fair payment for their products. It's similar to a minimum wage. And the third reason is maximum prices. Such maximum prices on necessity goods and rental accommodation may make such things more affordable for low-income households. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope it was informative. Stay tuned for the next one where I talk more about negative externalities of consumption and production in our new topic, market failure. And please do leave a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Bye!